Do you ever get bored with your average day-to-day existence? I sure do. Well, I should say, I did. Then I decided to do something about it. You see, conventional wisdom says that when you live your life and then when you're older, your parents pass away and you get whatever they have left. Inheritance. I'm sorry, that's just not good enough. I mean, come on, give me the money now so that I can really enjoy it. So here's what I did. I walked right up to my dad and I said,
Dad, I want what's to me and I want it right now. My young son had said to me, it's coming to me. And right at that moment, I'm thinking, yeah, bud, I'll give you what's coming to you. Who does he think that he is demanding these things from me? I brought him into this world and certainly could take him out of this world and make another one just like him, but he is my son, and I love him. And as much as it pained me, I decided to give to him what he had asked for and to let him search for a better life on his own. Not long after that, he packed his bags, and the next thing I know,
I was out of there. Kiss that boring place goodbye. There was a whole world out there waiting for me to discover. So the first thing I did was...
He got lost. I mean, I love him, but he's no Magellan. In fact, I heard that he actually had to stop 4 times asking for directions just to get out of our hometown.
All right, now that's not true. It was 3 times. And one of those times doesn't count because I didn't understand what the guy was saying, so I just nodded my head and left. And besides that, the only reason I wasn't good with directions is because somebody never took the time to teach me.
Let's not go there, son.
Okay, anyway, that doesn't really matter. The point is, I did find my way out of town, and then I began to live it up. I had it all. I had more friends than I knew what to do with, the best clothes money could buy. I was eating like a king, and the ladies. What can I say about the ladies?
Well, here's what I can say. None of them were ladies. There may have been women, but they weren't ladies.
They were 2 ladies. Well, I mean, most of them. Okay, there was Sheila and Nancy, and, well, they weren't really ladies. And Becca and Margot, come to think of it, none of them were really ladies.
Mr. Mambo number 5 over here. As I was saying...
Wait, Connie. Now, Connie was a lady.
Yeah, maybe a lady of the evening.
Okay, never mind. None of them were ladies, but the friends, the clothes, the food, man, it was all awesome. Until
he ran out of money. He ran out of money right about the same time that the whole country entered into a recession.
There wasn't any work to be found. Man, I tried, I really did, but I could not find work. I searched and finally got a job as a manager. Well, not really as a manager, but as an associate.
Double, try again.
Okay, fine. I was a bacon preparation assistant.
A bacon preparation assistant, which translates into...
I took care of the pigs. I couldn't believe my life had come to this. I had wasted everything the Father had given me. I wasn't really making any money to speak of. I had no place to live. I had no food to eat. There were days where I could have eaten the disgusting scraps I had to feed to the pigs, but I couldn't. They wouldn't let me. So with hunger pains as a constant reminder of how I had squandered my life away, I lived a life of misery, day after day after day after
day after day. I watched and I waited from the porch. I ached as my heart, as only the heart of a parent could for a child. Most importantly, I never gave up on him. I believed that one day he would return. I just knew it would happen one day.
One day it hit me. And I realized that back at my father's house, even his lowliest worker was doing better than I was. They had a place to live. They had food to eat. They were living like kings compared to me. And so I wondered,
what if he never comes to his senses? What if he doesn't ever come back? What if I never see my son again?
Again and again, I ran through things in my head as I made that long journey back to my father's house. I knew what I would do. I would humbly ask him to hire me back as one of his workers. I couldn't take a handout, and I had no right to ask him to take me back as his son. But maybe he'd let me work for him. Just maybe.
Each day I sat on the porch looking off into the horizon, thinking maybe today is the day that he'll come home. That is what the thought that went through my head every day. Maybe today I'll be sitting here and waiting and watching, and maybe today I will see him appear off into the distance as he makes his journey back home.
Home. It's a word that describes so many things. Comfort, care, security, acceptance, love. Love. And now I was just a few hundred yards away from it.
And I remember it was a beautiful day, and I had been sitting on my porch as I had many days before, enjoying the cool breeze, and then I saw him.
He stood up out of his chair. He looked my direction and squinted his eyes to get a better look at me. I wondered what he was thinking. I wondered how he felt about me. Would he tell me, "I told you so"?
I told you so. I told you so. I told you that he would come back. None of you would listen to me, but I knew. I didn't ever give up on him. I knew.
I just knew he was going to be angry. The closer I got to the house, the more I knew I'd made the wrong decision. So I stopped.
He just stood there.
I couldn't move.
I couldn't just stand there, so
he jumped. He literally jumped off of the porch. I'd never seen him do that before. He was like a little kid all excited about something, and then it hit me. He was excited about me. So what did I do?
You want to know what I did next?
I ran.
My heart was pounding so hard and so fast. All I could do was run to him.
I've never seen him run so fast. His arms stretched out as if to say, "Welcome home."
"Welcome home, my son," I shouted. But he was still a little too far off to hear. But we kept running. We kept running to each other. "Welcome home, welcome home." We both kept running towards each other. I just wanted him to jump into my arms like he did when he was a little boy, so I could let him know that it would be all right, that I love him. And as he got closer, I could see the tears beginning to stream down his face.
He was crying.
Oh, yeah, tears of joy. You know what my son did next? He jumped.
I actually jumped. I was so excited, so scared, so I jumped. And my father...
I caught him right then and there. And then
he hugged me. My father embraced me like only a father can. I'm so sorry, I told him. Please forgive me. I don't deserve to be called your son.
My son is back. He's back with me. Quick, bring him some clean clothes, put shoes on his feet, prepare a meal. No, make it a feast. Prepare a feast, for my son will no longer live as an orphan on this day. Today we will celebrate, for all our hopes have come true. My son has come home.
I guess it was hope that kept me going. A hope that my father would have mercy on me. A hope that in some way he would take me back. A hope that I would be forgiven.
Forgiven. It's all forgiven. I'll never bring it back up again. There is no blame. There is no anger. There is nothing on this day but joy. For my son was lost, but now he's found.
What would it take? What would it take to receive the kind of love offered by God? What would it take to fall into the arms of that unrelenting, stubborn, prodigal love of God? It seems like it should be the easiest thing in the world to do, right? Just to fall into the love of God. It should be an easy thing to do. Now, we don't know how the rest of the story goes for the younger brother after he comes back home. It'd be great to assume that the younger brother receives the love of the father and falls into that embrace and feasts with the family and is brought back into the center of the father's love. And that would be a wonderful, perfect bow on the end of a well-wrapped parable. But Jesus tells us these parables because God knows how we work, right? God knows how our lives work. And while we don't know what happened with the rest of the younger son's story, we do know what happened with the older son. You all remember the rest of the story, how the older son is jealous of the younger son and is upset and hurt and angry. And it's almost like even with this abundant love of God, there is still work to do. There is still healing that needs to be done. And so while we don't know what happened next with the younger son, we do know the younger son's journey back to his father. We do know how hard it must have been for that younger son to approach that love and to swallow his shame, his embarrassment, his loss, his alienation. Those are big mountains to climb for the younger son and for any of us who have ever been in need of forgiveness. I think it's easy to receive the abundant love of God. But I think sometimes it takes us a while to trust ourselves with that love, to forgive ourselves, to heal ourselves of the shame and hurt, loss and alienation, to lay those burdens down bit by bit, so that over time we have enough space in our hearts to hold every ounce of God's amazing love.
Softly, tenderly, Jesus is calling for you and for me. Why should we tarry when Jesus is pleading for you and me? Why should we linger and heed not his mercies for you and for me? If we can accept that we are those who are in need of being forgiven at the waters of grace, if we have faith to believe that even before we have uttered a word out of our mouth, that our Creator loves us and forgives us, that our Creator stands out like a parent, arms wide open, saying, "Come to me," why then would we linger? For our Creator is one that is full of love. It is one that is full of grace. It is one that is willing to go to the depths and the ends with his own Son. But not there, but to bring him back to life just as much as our Creator, our God, our parent in heaven wants to bring each of us back to life. It is that love that is offered as a gift for you and for you and for you and for you, and there is no shortage of it. There is an abundance of it. It is here. Will you take it? Will you receive it? It is a gift that has been laid out for you. We celebrate it at this table each month and at this font each week. Will you receive that love in your heart? Here we are as we make our way through the 40 days of Lent, laboring through the idea of who are we, who am I before God, and we need to remember that before God, we are the ones who are welcomed into the embrace of love that is everlasting. Why would we tarry and linger any longer? Why would we tarry and linger any longer? It is our Creator. It is this divine parent who is saying to each and one of us, come, lay your burdens down. Lay it all out before me. While you are still far off, can you see the God who is crazy about you? Can you see the God with this open hands and open arms, willing and ready to roll up the sleeves and to wash away every ounce of shame, to erase every bit of waywardness? Why would we linger and tarry any longer? Come, receive God's love and forgiveness. If there isn't anything that you have done yet in this spiritual journey through the season of Lent, come. Receive the sign of God's love in your life. For those of you who are ready to lay it down, Pastor John, myself, Stephen Leader Diana, and Stephen Leader Sharon, we are here ready to receive you, to offer you a prayer. Come and lay it down. For those of you with mobility concerns and you want to remain in your pew, wave Sharon Shaw down and she will come to you, because that is how love works. Sometimes it is the one who jumps on the porch and to you. We are all in need of forgiveness. We are all the ones sometimes standing way far off. But here is a moment of grace. Here is that moment of love. So let us lay it down and let us receive it. Those of you who would like to receive prayer, we would invite you to come now to join us.